Hello everyone, Mabinogi released every quest for part 1 of their Frieren crossover event. This plays right after the introduction. If you'd like to see how we met Frieren and the rest, there's a link in the description and the card in the top right. Without any further ado, here's what happened during part 1. We meet up with Frieren's group at Duncan's house after we advised them to ask him about the magic grimoires Frieren is looking for. The chief does not seem to know much about magic or anyone in the village who would, so he recommends us to ask the town folk about it. However, he notes that they're working kind of people, so if we do a commission for them, they're more likely to tell us what they know. We head towards the mill where we meet up with Elisa. After a quick introduction, the conversation goes to the bakery's bread, and how eating it seems to soothe the soul and make you happy. Sadly for us, they ran out of bread and the ingredients to make more. Since they are busy, she asks us to collect more wheat, barley and water in exchange for some old bread from this morning. This task is rather simple as the grain field and river are right next to the mill, and upon return she gives us the bread, and it does in fact seem to have soothing properties, however no magical ones. So we return to Duncan, who advises us to take a break for the day and try again in the morning. The next day we head to Dejon, who is the local shepherd. He's having some problem with the wolves who have gotten more aggressive lately and asks us to protect his sheep by taking care of them. During this combat encounter, I am glad that my primary fighting style are the chains, as being able to do multiple hits on enemies is a godsend here since the sheep are very weak. After defeating all of them, he thanks us, but sadly he does not seem to know anything about magic. So we're heading back to Duncan. We tell him what we did, and besides making a jokey remark about how hard work and the journey are the real folk magic, he apologizes and tells us there is nothing he can do for us. So we get to thinking, and Stark points out that we might have more luck in a larger city, so we advise Dunbarton. After a good night's rest, we head to the city and talk to Evine, the representative of Dunbarton's town hall. After some quick introductions and explanations about the trader's city, she points out a bookstore run by Arira. After we get there, Frieren starts explaining what she is looking for. It turns out they have many magical books here, and Frieren wants to buy them all. However, they cost a total of 500,000 gold, and the party is broke. After hearing about their money problems, Arira comes up with another way they can pay for the books. In order to keep her collection in tip-top shape, she requires a few herbs. If we get those for her, we'll get 500,000 worth of books. At first, I thought this was a steal, until I read more about the herbs she needed. So it turns out they are pretty high level ones, and I don't even have the herbalist skill unlocked. While feeling defeated and thinking about if I would be able to continue this video, I spotted someone at the town center. A person was selling the exact herbs we need for the quest, so God bless their soul, as this is a ridiculous requirement for a crossover event that is supposed to reel in new players. We head back to the bookstore with the herbs in hand and trade them for the books. Then we return to Yvonne to ask if there's more places to obtain books, and she says she will look into it. The following day we return and she says she spoke with a magic teacher at the local school, who has some extra that we can take a look at. So we head to his classroom, and indeed Stuart does have some books, however they're undeciphered. However, he's very busy cleaning the old books and fixing them up, so he cannot get them for us at the moment. But he makes us a deal: if we fix up the books, he'll go and get them. This prompted a simple minigame, where you had to click the right icon on the right page. I have no idea how you're supposed to know what to use and where, except for the cat, but we made it in the end. Stuart comes back with the books and Frieren asks us to help deciphering a few of them. A while later, it turns out that many of these books are advanced scripts, which is fine, but not what Frieren was looking for, as currently she does not have a full grasp of this world's magic yet. So we return to the town's hall to ask if there's some more low-level books. Yvonne advises us to look in the Royal Library that is located in Terra, the capital of the region, as they have pretty much everything. So we make our journey to the castle and meet up with the librarian, Arzella. After once again explaining what we're looking for, she tells us that there's many books here, and even though Frieren would like to rent them all, doing so would be problematic, as it's just too many books. Arzella then explains that there's many tomes you can find in the Shadow Realms, which have yet to be deciphered. So we head into one of these Shadow Realms and return with a book, and instead of deciphering it ourselves, Arzella will do it for us. She would also like to talk to us in private and then sends the group to the Hanging Gardens to wait while we talk and she deciphers the grimoire. It turns out that the city is under attack lately by monsters from the Shadow Realm. and this was the real reason she wanted us to go there. She currently cannot elaborate on it, and asks us to keep it between us. So afterwards we meet up with Frieren and the rest, and spend the rest of the day relaxing in the garden. The following day we head back to the Royal Library. It turns out that the book we found was a cookbook. She tells us that we should not give up, as there's plenty more books hidden in the Shadow Realm. Though the forceful way she keeps incentivizing that we should go there is noticed by Frieren, who asks her if she has her own agenda on why we need to go down there. In reply, she just smiles and denies it. In search for more books, we do go back to the Shadow Realm. However, after clearing a bunch of monsters, we find me. And a whole lot of me. Luckily, I'm terrible at combat in this game, so this was a pretty easy battle. This made Frieren even more suspicious, so we head back and demand answers. She explains that what we saw were doppelgangers, and this explains some of the weird things that are happening in the castle. Afterwards, she asks us to do some investigating, as in order to launch an official investigation, she needs more proof. So we head down to the first floor, and find out that some crazy guy in armor has been making a mess in the kitchen, throwing spice bottles. Similarly, something strange happened in the armory, where a suit of armor was stolen. With the information that we are looking for a person in armor and who smells like spices, we question everyone on this floor. Here we have 30 minutes to find a person who matches the description. However, a lot of guards smell like spices due to one way or another. After nearly questioning everybody, we find a suspicious man who matches what we're looking for, but he runs off before we can capture him. So we head back up to Urzela, who thanks us for the help, as this gives her enough evidence that something is going on. She hands a bag of gold to Frieren for the help and says that she'll let us know if she needs any help later in the investigation. Afterwards, we meet back up with the group and say our temporary goodbyes, as we'll meet once again if there's more information about this investigation. And this concludes part 1 of Frieren's story in Mabinogi. It looks like this quest has taken us in a different direction, from just looking for magic books to potentially saving the capital. With that, I hope y'all enjoyed, and stay tuned for part 2 later this month. See y'all then.